So hi, my name is Retang. I studied at the Open Window. I double majored in visual communications and photography. So yeah, kind of signed up for hell there. And I graduated in 2019. Yes, I am signed in an agency. I used to freelance, but for stills, I'm with Lampposts, and for video, I'm with In Common. Yeah, I did some work for Adidas for stills. I did some video work for Flying Fish. I did some video work for Metropolitan. I directed something for them. Yeah, my portfolio is kind of everywhere, but those are the three big brands that I can think about right now. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a weird story. In matric, I kind of got into the love of photography. I got this phone. My parents kind of gifted me with the phone, and I was super glad to like document everything, document where I am, my friends, flowers. I remember I used to shoot flowers a lot. And then I started shooting, graduating from shooting just flowers to shooting my friends, to shooting buildings and those kinds of things. And it just gradually grew and grew and grew and grew to where it is right now. So yeah, I believe I've always had a love for the visual medium, for creating visuals, for communicating via visuals. And yeah, it took a small little phone camera to get me there. Yeah, so as I said, I used to start by shooting like little plants and flowers. I used to love aesthetics. And I think a lot of photographers, when they start working, they kind of fall into the trap of, oh, I like the aesthetic of this thing, so I'm going to shoot it all the time. But then when I graduated to shooting people, then I started growing a love for fashion. And then once my love for fashion kind of not died down, but I had explored it, I began to start loving communication, like visual storytelling, kind of putting in elements of theories, for example. So when I studied at the Open Window, I had the world of like art. And when I say art, I mean like the theoretical nature of art, the things that make up art, because we used to study, Viscom, you study sort of art movements as they go along. And in that thing I learned, or I started wanting to tell a story with my shots. So what does a shot mean to me? Yes, it's a shot of a flower, but what does it mean to me? Yes, it's a shot of a person, but what does that mean to me too? And within every sort of era, I guess I could say, of my work, I've kind of found something to love, latch onto that, and then use that as my driving force for my photography. So it could be lighting light. For example, I love light. I feel like light is the most important thing in the whole wide world. If you're a visual communicator and you do not understand light, stop. But that's just me. Yeah, so I would latch onto things that I would love, what draws me. Not to make this breathy, but like just to give an example, because I feel like I meandered there for a bit. Currently, I'm in love with I'm not in love with people's faces, but I have this project that I'm working on where I'm breaking down the things that make people attractive. And it's called Many Faces, and I kind of take pictures of people and I select features. So if you think your lips make you the best person on earth, or it's the best feature, I kind of take your lips and I put them on another person's lips, on another person's face, to see how that can work out. Yeah, so Many Faces, weird, but yeah, check it out. How I stay inspired is I keep looking, I keep discovering, I push myself to keep learning. I always try to see if I can't do anything that feels or that looks difficult or that seems like it could be hard for me to do, and I tackle that 100%, because I get inspiration from being challenged. I get inspiration from, okay, this is a thing that's blocking me. How can I move forward? That's how I kind of went into directing. I felt stills was great. I would be a photographer my whole life. but I had reached a point where I felt like, okay, now I'm plateauing here. What I need to do is I need to find something that makes me feel like a beginner again, that makes me feel like I'm starting from scratch. And that was directing for me. I did the directing thing, and now I'm like, okay, not that I'm plateauing, but what can I do that will make me feel like a beginner again? And now I'm into DOPing. So I keep sort of not stopping, keep doing something different within the visual language and the visual medium, and it always just kind of calls back to the main love. They all kind of feed into each other. So whenever I shoot something for a stills campaign, it feeds into my directing, and when I'm directing something, it feeds into my DOPing love. That's how I just keep it going. And also, I keep my worldview open. So I open myself up to the world. What are artists all around the world doing? What do campaigns in Japan look like? What do campaigns in Uzbekistan look like? What is that one obscure photographer in the trenches of Canada doing? Yeah, that's how I just keep myself going. That's how I keep myself inspired and motivated. Yeah, networking and marketing, hey? I'm not a big people's person. I very much like being by myself. But I recently found out that, in order for people to kind of know you, you kind of have to put yourself out there. Who would have thought, right? So when it comes to networking and marketing, I think the internet has helped me a lot. Having, like, my social media page is just about my work. It's just about the things that I put out there, stuff that I love, that I've done, that I put out there. I never quite put out my personal life in there, but it's funny to note how people want to know about the artist, and they want to know about the person that does the work. What are they like? What kind of music do they like to do? So I keep myself very open to engaging to other people, and that's how I kind of market myself. And also, the internet kind of helps you create a community around yourself, or a community of people that are like-minded, because you follow the stuff that you like, you follow the people that you like, and they follow you back, and it becomes like this great thing, right? You follow me, I follow you. Yeah. So now that I'm with agencies, it's like they can handle the marketing part of my work a little bit better, which is great sometimes. Like, sometimes you just want someone who's going to push you while you sit at home and you're dealing with the SADs for a week, you know? You want to be able to have someone who's just like, who pushes that for you. But it is a business, and people do want to know about you. They want to know about the person behind the camera, and being open to those kinds of conversations and not sheltering yourself, because I used to do that. People would ask me about me and I'd say, oh, why would you want to know about me? I'm just a lowly photographer. I'm a guy behind the camera. But people really do want to know about you. So, you know, you find yourself at a party, you have a conversation with that person. Don't shut them out, you know. Speak about art. And people that party with me know I'm super irritating at that. I will talk your head off over a couple of beers about Jean-Michel Basquiat, for example. We will talk about art. Yeah, I think that's enough. Okay, cool. I'll talk about my most recent job where I was a gaffer for this extremely talented and amazing videographer, and we shot the whole thing on an iPhone. So how insane, right? Because of the world that we're kind of going into and the world that we're living in, you kind of expect that, oh man, if I don't have the best camera in the whole wide world, I'm never going to be able to shoot that big campaign. But here we shot this thing on an iPhone 14. How insane is that? I always just kind of say the best camera that you'd ever have is the one that you have. So yeah, that's like, that's a little bit of a crazy one. Whole campaign, guys, people paid money for this, okay? Like, we all got paid very nice, and we shot it on an iPhone. So yeah, who would have thought? So my current belief, which might evolve, certainly will not change, but will definitely evolve, is that photography, basically everything that we produce visually, should be able to speak to the human condition in some way, in some, in some facets. Your work should be, because we all take from very deep places of ourselves to make the work that we make, whether you're directing it, whether you're a DOP in this thing, or whether you're shooting a still. There's something that you're grabbing from that is intrinsic within you, that speaks to your nature. And that is the purpose, I feel, of everything that we do visually when we're talking about our personal work. So now, obviously, when you have to market something, right? When a client comes to you and they say, hey, dude, look, we want to sell 50 cars by the end of this week, right? It's a whole different story. But I think when it comes to you personally and the kind of work that you do, you should be able to speak about your human condition. It should be a reflection of your life. It should be able to tell something, right? It should be able to communicate something. Whether you're shooting in film or whether you're shooting on digital, whether you are documenting your dog. There's this DOP, Thomas Pastorius, really great DOP, check him out, really insane, Tommy Two Guns, what's up? He documents his wife and family a lot. And that for me is beautiful, because he's literally talking about the growth of his kids. He's talking about the growth of his relationship, I guess, and how his life moves forward. That's like extremely beautiful stuff, and he does it all on his like iPhone. Like he doesn't curate it, sit there, oh hey, please sit like this in the sun and perfectly. He just takes random pictures and he posts them on his stories, and I think that's amazing to do that. Another DOP that I like talking about, that I like working with too, is Ramon. Ramon documents him because he's a mountaineer, so he documents him like climbing mountains and stuff. That's great, but it speaks to how he enjoys the calmness and the peace of conquering a mountain. You know, it speaks to that kind of thing. So as the world evolves, especially in the times that we are in, where it kind of seems like, oh, robots are taking over, AI is going to do everything for you, you should be able to speak. The only thing that's going to make you stand out is if you speak about things that no one else can speak about but you. Something that only you have a full monopoly upon. You need to be able to capitalize on that extremely, no matter what it is. Like, no matter what it is. If you like cars, shoot those rims and those engine blocks and those whatever you have. Like, shoot absolutely everything that speaks about you. And as it evolves, that's something that's going to keep you relevant, that's going to keep you going, that's going to keep people coming to you, because everyone likes something at a certain degree, at a certain place. So yeah, so see, when it comes to books, I'm going to talk about the artist that one artist that I've recently fallen in love with these books is Gregory Crutzen. Gregory Crutzen is a photographer who, first of all, Gregory Crutzen would make a series of work that takes him about 8 years to make. He would shoot a frame a year. He doesn't get it to him. He will shoot that one frame, that 1 year, and that's it, right? You know, you could look at David LaChapelle's books. David LaChapelle is amazing. The way that David LaChapelle documents the sort of behind the scenes process and the actual images that he's made is absolutely amazing. Ren Hang, bellissimo, absolutely amazing images. Ren Hang I think is one of those like time-defining photographers. Ren Hang's work is very to this time, but if books are too expensive, because books can be expensive, like the Gregory Crutzen book that I recently bought was like 1.5, which for some might be a little bit insane. Use your Instagram. Instagram started off as a platform to show off photography. So I know these days people might say, oh man, because of the algorithm, it's kind of moving away from that, but there's still a lot of aspects of that. So if you have your worldview open and you follow and you collect inspiration, I mean, in my Instagram saved, I have literally a folder of photo stuff and another folder of video stuff. And whatever that I find on my explore page, whatever that I find that someone might have sent me, I save. I put it out, because you'll never know when that thing or whatever that piece of inspiration might be to help you get back in. I would say Behance too. Behance is great for if you specifically want a certain type of work. Behance can help you do that, but obviously not a lot of artists post their stuff on Behance. So yeah. Another, YouTube, man. Another thing, jump onto YouTube, follow your favorite creators if they do have YouTube channels, like Willem Verbeek, great film photographer, has a great film channel. Samuel Elkins, great photographer, great YouTube channel. Yeah, so use the tools that are around you, but try your best to get a book. Try your best to stay away from the internet as much as you can. But if you can't, Instagram and YouTube are going to be the best. Yeah, gear acquisition syndrome. I think that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest issue. Speaking personally, I didn't have money to buy the best camera when I started at the school, but I had a love for photography, and I think, as I said again, the best tool that I had, the best camera that I had, was the one in my hands. Even to this day, now that I'm a little bit better, got a little bit of cash, I've bought all of my gear, the best camera that I have is the one that I have. So I think when you start looking at your gear and you think, oh man, I'm not producing the best kind of work because my camera is not the best camera, or the lens that I have is not the best lens, maybe you need to step back and think, maybe you're limiting the gear that you have, so it's not the other way around. What a lot of young creators come into the game, they're like, oh dude, I'm not going to be able to shoot the short documentary because I don't have a red. No, dude, like no, you're not going to be able to shoot that short documentary because you don't have it in you to shoot that short documentary. You can shoot on anything, you can create on anything, you can make on anything. It doesn't matter, so long as you have the love for it. The things that we love about images stretch beyond the tools that we make. When you speak about composition, when you're speaking about lighting, those things are beyond the tool that you have to create a certain thing. You have to sharpen those tools. You have to sharpen those concepts, those ideas. Get your composition right, get your storytelling right, then try to put whatever gear that you have to work with the situation that you're handed with. It honestly doesn't matter. You don't need to edit on a Mac, guys. You don't have to edit on a laptop that has a RTX 3060 that costs 40,000 rands. You honestly do not have to do that. But if you have the love for the medium that you're working in, and if you have the passion for it to push it forward, you will be great. Don't worry about the gear. Don't worry about the tools. Just sharpen the fundamentals. Get the fundamentals right, then you'll be fine. People are weird, eh? I think people are very weird. Yeah, for the longest time, I wasn't able to get like a straight up look at me in the camera portrait of a person. Because as I said, like I'm a very reserved person. I'm a very shy, not shy, but I'm reserved. I really do like being in my own space. But what I've learned about shooting people is that if you create a space that is welcoming of a person, and that is welcoming of the energies that people might bring into the set, people tend to relax around you if you do make that space, and if you do make that kind of very chill, very relaxed, look, come, we're friends, come, let's shoot this thing together. It's not a model photographer conversation, it's a collaborative conversation between me and you. Also, open yourself up to receiving suggestions from the people that you're photographing, because then as soon as people feel involved in the whole thing, they open up to you a little bit more, and that will allow you to capture those extremely authentic moments. And also shoot in between takes. get shots in between the shutter, right? Because you're gonna sit someone down and say, okay, I want you to look at me like this, and then take a picture and then pause. No, you need to keep shooting. It works very well in video because you can call cut and then you can let a person do, relax. Oh my God, that was crazy, man. Oh, we said that was like take number 6. Those are the kinds of authentic moments that you can use within your documentary or within your interview section that would really be beautiful. So yeah, create a space that is collaborative, create a space that is open, create a space that is allowing of the other person to be in your space too. So yeah. So I'll give like for 2 separate kind of people, right? If you're in any kind of art school, AAA, open window, calm down, chill. I know it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of stress. Being in art school is so crazy. Like, man, when we apply for art school, we think it's gonna be all roses, man. Jolly, good, man. We're gonna make beautiful things our whole lives, and then you get here and it's like, it seems like a panic to get through things. But calm down. Believe in yourself even more, even when you don't have the external validation of someone else telling you that your work is good. Believe in the thing that you're doing, that it's good, because it might be hard, especially when you've created from the bottom pit of your heart, for you to be, for you to be killed when it comes to your lecturer telling you that your work just doesn't cut it. Man, I understand the pain of that. I understand what it could mean for, especially because a lot of people then give up at that point. You're in your second year, man, you thought you did it great because you passed your first year, dude. So you're thinking, smooth ride until I graduate, right? And then you get to your second term and the project that you feel like is the dopest project that you've ever received, your lecturer is like, it's just it's okay. And you're like, no, but this is the greatest thing that I've ever done in my whole life. What do you mean it's just okay? So I just want you to just chill. Just relax. It's not as bad as it seems. It's never as bad as it seems, right? It's never a train smash. You can still go through this and you can still pass. Just open yourself up to improving and open yourself up to being better. So for you who doesn't go to any art school, but you have a love for this thing, right? Just keep going. Keep shooting. Keep creating. Because the only way to get better is to be better. And the only way to be better is by doing better. So the more you just create, the more you just push. I mean, even you, the student who's struggling because your lecturer told you that that picture of that flower that you took is not dope. Even you, keep shooting. Keep making. Keep iterating, keep trying to find new ways of, taking a picture of this flower, Shoot it out in the sun, pluck it, put it in your house, shoot a still life of it, right? Shoot it underwater, shoot it on a bed, shoot it amidst your dog, shoot it in your grandmother's hand, take the subject and explore all ways that the subject could be placed and explore all ways that this thing could be made. And then in that process of you creating and that process of you making, you will end up being better and you will end up creating better work. So just keep doing and don't be demotivated. Don't rely on external validation, man. Like, stop caring about the likes, bro. Like, honestly, stop it. Stop timing your posts so that you get the most kinds of interactions to your thing. Like, stop it. If you have something and you shot it, just put it out there. Put it out there. Someone out there would like it, but also for you to say, oh man, I did this and it's great, and just pass it on, right? So that's all you need to do. Like, don't worry about what other people think, dude. Just do, and you'll be great.